Okay, so I'm going to make the pitch that the classic series was darker than the new series. Okay. I know everybody's going to have their own opinions about this, but let me go on a few things here. First off, I'd say, one, there was more satanic entities in the classic series for some reason, like Sutek, Benwick, the Black Guardian, the Mara, and in the new series we have Satan. So four classic, one new series, and I mean I guess you could say new Sutek goes in with the new series, but like a lot of satanic entities, and the worst of all was the Mara, because the Mara we saw the Mara corrupting Tegan, and it was doing it slowly, and even though the Fifth Doctor had defeated it, it ended up coming back, and then like one of those shorts they did for one of the Doctor Who collections implies that Tegan is still being possessed by the Mara. She didn't really shake it off, it's still there. Like, how is that not the scariest of all the things we've seen in Doctor Who? That's just awful. But, I mean, also in the classic series, we had Charlo being resurrected by the Black Guardian, making it harder for Charlo to fight back the Black Guardian because he's dealing with something that could bring him back to life. So then we see the Doctor with this double agent working for someone who has the power of life and death, and then we see Adric die. Then there is the darkness of Tegan's exit, and then just the darkness of the Sixth Doctor. The darkness in Trial of a Time Lord, where the Time Lords try to kill the Doctor because apparently they did not want anyone finding out that they had wiped out all life on Earth, and just, ooh. I mean, the classic series was very dark. Ironically, the Seventh Doctor series, in my opinion, wasn't quite as dark, but I want to make a point that darkness isn't what makes a show. I think the Sixth Doctor era is a great example of this. As a point where darkness becomes gratuitous, and the Sixth Doctor era is the biggest example of that. With the Seventh Doctor era, there was this sort of subtlety towards the darkness. And I there's some part of me that feels like that became the template for the darkness in the new series. Like, the new series isn't necessarily dark. The Ninth Doctor, the 10th Doctor, the 11th Doctor, there was this sort of conceptual darkness, but it wasn't like you had a whole list of bad things that happened. Instead, you had the end of the Time Lords, which happened off-screen, and which we feel mostly through the Doctor. And then we have the return of the Daleks. But the thing about the Daleks is, as bad as they are, we at least didn't have to see someone getting turned into a Dalek. Not until Asylum of the Daleks. Although, I mean, I guess maybe I'm wrong on that, because, like, they did tackle the idea that all of the Daleks were human, but it's like, that kind of just shows that this is a different sort of darkness. Like, it's quality over quantity. But again, like, I feel like the classic series was darker. The new series at times ends up being a lot brighter. Like, the 10th Doctor was so optimistic. Well, by comparison. The 11th Doctor was very optimistic. The 12th Doctor wasn't, but at the exact same time, it's like, even though he constantly thought he was dark, in some ways I'd say the 12th Doctor era was the least dark era. Because the 11th Doctor spent a whole season thinking he was going to die, then he had to watch his companions die in front of him. The way he lost Amy was just dark. The stuff that happened with Amy's daughter was dark. But then the 12th Doctor, by comparison, didn't have to deal with that kind of stuff. He just kept saying how dark his life was, although what happened to Bill was pretty dark. So I don't know. But, I mean, my point here is that a lot of times in the fandom, people say that you need to bring in darkness. You need to make the show darker. But the thing is that the show has darkness. I'd say that maybe you need some big character defining moment for the Doctor instead. I mean, the one thing I tried to propose in the video I've since deleted, I think it would be an interesting idea if the Doctor ends up having a war with humanity. You know, because like we know humanity's going to do dark things in the future, and for some reason the Doctor has never really confronted that. But then we do hear about this Minister of War, and the problem with the Minister of War, but then also this other figure, the that guy from 73 Yards, I can't remember his name, but like it feels like that could have escalated into something galactic level, and then the spin-offs, we were the Doctor was given a companion, and the Time Lords told the Doctor that he was given this companion because there was a decent possibility she was going to become a galactic despot. You know? Like, there's this recurring idea that humanity will become a problem in the future, but the Doctor doesn't seem to deal with it. I think it would be interesting if one day the Doctor is forced to deal with it. Like, what if an alien species comes in and says, okay, I'm going to give humanity all kinds of tech. And then UNIT says, okay, I'll accept this on behalf of humanity. And then the Doctor is forced to intervene. You know, I think that would be interesting. Because, like, the Doctor has to confront his role in humanity. And I think it would be interesting if at one point they confront the fact that humanity is not ready to take on that kind of role. You know, like there's proof that humanity isn't mature enough and that it may not ever be mature. And I don't think the series has really dealt with that in any lasting way. And I think it would be interesting if it did. But like, coming back to that idea of darkness, if you want darkness in this show, you shouldn't have darkness for the sake of darkness. What we need is a plot that's kind of dark, that's dark and everything, but like comes right down to the heart of the show and the heart of who the Doctor is, and challenges him on some level.